Hi, this is an advertisement for my novel. My name is Jeffy C. Eady, and I'm trying to do a little advertisement for my novel, which is entitled American Song, and the subtitle is Nazareth Road, which is the street I grew up on the east side of Kalamazoo, Michigan. It's a political fiction novel. It has a fictional story mixed with current and historical political commentary. Uh, the fictional story is drawn from my own upbringing uh, and my own experiences and the experiences of friends that I grew up with in on the east side of Kalamazoo, Michigan. And the political commentary is my own opinion. Uh, I am an American of Irish, Italian, and Norwegian descent. I am a Roman Catholic, and the east side of Kalamazoo, Michigan, was where the working people lived at that time. I understand that Kalamazoo has changed quite a bit since the time I was living there. I entered the kindergarten in 1958, uh, and I graduated from high school in 1972. Uh, when I went to kindergarten in 1958, they were still teaching the children to how to hide under your desk in the chance that we might be attacked with the nuclear weapons by the Soviet Union. And this instilled a bit of fear in me as a child, thinking that it's possible we could all be incinerated by a nuclear weapon. I still have a little fear of that now. Uh, uh, our country is now run by people that they shouldn't be in office. I believe that President Trump was falsely, fraudulently ousted from the presidency. Massive, blatant voter fraud, uh, election fraud, very sloppy. But the Supreme Court hasn't wanted to hear any of the very valid, very important, crucial cases of election fraud brought before them by President Trump's lawyers, uh, which is, in my opinion, not acceptable at all. The Supreme Court is one of three bodies of governing power in the United States federal government, and they neglected to do their duty, their constitutional mandate. But anyway, uh, the people running the country now, I'm afraid, are trying to get us back into war because they're made up of a lot of neocons, Democrats, and Republicans, rhino Republicans, and they make money when U.S. soldiers are having their blood spilled in these wars of aggression and killing other soldiers uh, and of course the innocent civilians that are caught in the crossfire of these wars. uh, uh, there were 2 million, at least 2 million innocent, defenseless Christian civilians annihilated in the Middle East since the end of 2001. Uh, this was never reported to the U.S. public by our so-called U.S. mainstream news media. I heard about it way back in 2005 from people that had fled the Middle East and immigrated to the United States. They were Christians, and they told me what was going on, and I was astounded because I hadn't heard anything on the news media about it. But anyway, uh, these new warmonger neocons are trying to make Russia the new boogeyman, and I think they're trying to provoke Russia, and I think this is a very dangerous thing to do because they don't seem to remember the Cuban Missile Crisis when we were really close to a nuclear apocalypse, and that could easily happen. All they have to do is push a button, and it's done. And it's a little scary, as far as I'm concerned. Uh, in 1917, the Blessed Mother of God appeared to 3 children in Fatima, Portugal, and one of the things that she instructed the children to do was to tell the people to pray for Russia in 1917. And Russia has gone through a living hell for about a century. Bloody violence in the revolution, the terror of Stalin, who killed an estimated 60 million of his own countrymen, terrible economic depressions, World War II, when Russia, who was with the Allies, lost more soldiers and more civilians than any other country or any other group of people during World War II, including the Axis countries that we, the Allies, were fighting against during World War II. They went through the Cold War, and I'm sure their people were probably just as terrified as we in the United States were for a while there, especially when you're 5 years old and you're hiding under your desk in kindergarten or first grade. You know, that makes a kind of a lasting impression on you. But anyway, Russia has emerged now as a country that has done away with much of the old Soviet baloney. They have made their Russian Orthodox Christian Church legal again after the Soviets had outlawed it for almost a century. They now have a robust free enterprise economy. They actually did away with their central bank, which was one of the criminal central banks in the worldwide criminal central banking cartel, of which the U.S. Federal Reserve is one. The Federal Reserve is not part of the government at all, in spite of the name. They're just nothing more than a criminal central bank and a member of the worldwide criminal central banking cartel. So they did away with the central bank. They now print their own currency, which is backed by gold, so it has value, unlike the U.S. Dollar. President Trump tried to do away with the Federal Reserve. He knew what happened in Russia, and they are free now. They're free of the slavery of the criminal central bank. They are not our enemies. They are doing just fine, and it looks to me like the prayers that the Blessed Mother of God at Fatima, Portugal, and instructed us to pray for Russia have been answered. What bothers me now is that it's this country, the United States of America, that needs the prayers. I think we're in trouble right now. The central banking cartel, the worldwide central banking cartel, makes money in many, many ways, including criminal ways. Not just funding both sides of a war, but gun trafficking, drug trafficking, and child trafficking. And these children, these helpless, abducted, innocent children, are used for horrible purposes, in addition, and even worse, to pedophilia. So I'm sure that with their wealth and power around the world, they managed to make sure that President Trump was not going to win the election, even though he had 75 million votes and won in a nationwide landslide victory. um, I am an American of I don't know if I said this or not. I'm not rehearsed. I'm not a professional spokesperson. I'm trying to just try to make a little advertisement here. So if I repeat myself, please forgive me. But I'm an American of Irish, Italian, and Norwegian descent, a Roman Catholic, and from a working background, and that's where my perspective is. That's where I'm coming from, and that's the perspective that I put forth in my book. The fictional story is a very real story, very real human story, no sugarcoating. It'll make you laugh out loud and maybe even cry a few tears sometimes. And the political commentary is just what I think is common sense, truthful, and cuts through the baloney and the BS that we hear on the news media and everywhere else nowadays. It gets right to the point, and I try to tell the truth as best I see it. And so that's what the book is all about. It is a new revised edition of this year, 2021. It was first published in March of 2015, and I have added so much material to it in the last 5-6 years that I had to copyright it 2 more times, and now it's the final edition. You know, I could go on adding to it forever, and it wouldn't be enough. So I'm just going to cut it short right now. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm sick and tired of adding to it. I think of things. Oh, I should have put that in. I should have. No, I can't do it anymore. It'll go on forever. So this is the final version of it. It's got very good reviews on Amazon, but the problem is that I don't have very many reviews at all. I only have about 4 or 5 or 6 reviews, and not enough people read it. That's why I'm making this advertisement. The new McCarthyism, the phony patriotism of the neocon warmongers. They're trying to make Russia the new boogeyman. They're not the boogeyman. The boogeyman is right here in this country, or any evil power around the world that wants to put the people in power who are there now here in the United States. This happens to be about 1:30 in the morning on the 4th of July, Independence Day. So everybody have a wonderful Independence Day. Keep praying. Don't stop praying. We can't do it all by ourselves. We need the Almighty, the divine power of God. But God doesn't expect us to sit idly by and wait for Him to do all the work. He expects us to fight the good fight. And anybody knows, any soldier or any brave person knows that courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the ability to keep fighting even though you're afraid. And faith is believing without seeing. And as Jesus said in the Gospels, blessed are those who have not seen and have believed. Anyway, happy Independence Day to the United States of America. And God bless you, and keep up the good fight. Okay, thank you. Oh boy.